Good evening, James Dixon. Today is Friday, the 29th of January. Welcome to JD Daily News. First on tonight's programme, we head over to Mr. Fraser, who's going to give us a little bit more information about Safer Internet Day. And yes, I'm just being asked to confirm when Safer Internet Day is. Bear with me a second. Yes, that's Tuesday the 9th of February, so just to confirm that. Let's go over to Mr. Fraser to hear more.
Thank you, Robin. So this post is to launch Safer Internet Day, and as you know, children, we celebrate this every year in school. This year it's going to be on Tuesday the 9th of February, that's a week on Tuesday, and that day you will be taking part in learning about how to separate fact from fiction on the internet so we can keep safe. So before then, there's going to be bits of information about the day, so do look out for that. It should be good, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Mr. Fraser. I'm really looking forward to Safer Internet Day on the 9th of February. Now, we're going to hear from Mrs. Aldred, as recently parents have been sent some feedback forms where you've been asked to comment on the quality of our online learning, things you've liked, things you think need to improve. So we've been going through your responses, and Mrs. Aldred is going to feed back with some of those now. Mrs. Aldred, over to you.
We have introduced live sessions every Friday so that your children can catch up with each other and see each other's faces. I know that some parents think that live sessions are the gold standard of remote learning, but we think that there's huge value in pre-recorded sessions. There are a few things that we consider when we look at our pre-recorded lessons. Is the quality of education that's being provided the same as the quality that they would get in the classroom? Are the children inspired and motivated to build on their previous learning? And is there an opportunity for feedback? Those things are really important, and we think that we achieve those things through our pre-recorded sessions. Pre-recording the lessons means that other adults get to take part. So if you're in year 2, you would have seen Mr. Minot dressed up as Mary Seacole, and you would have seen Mr. Day dressed up as Florence Nightingale. One thing's clear, and I think I've said this before, you can't recreate the magic of a classroom over the screen, but we will continue to do the very best that we can. It's perhaps not useful to compare one school to another because every school is trying to do the best that they can for their school community. And we believe that our offer is one that provides for the different families within our school community. And we think it works for the majority of our families. So our offer is 4 hours a day for Key Stage 2, 3 hours a day for Key Stage 1, and that's based on the government guidance which came out a couple of weeks ago. So what I would say is that reading for pleasure is so important. Don't undervalue reading for pleasure, that time spent just finding a cosy spot at home with a book that you enjoy and encouraging your child to just read. Thank you for this comment. Actually, the leadership team at James Dixon completely agree with this. And so from this weekend, home learning set on Google Classroom is optional. So your children don't have to do it, but we do understand that there are some families that quite enjoy their children being in that routine, but it is now optional. There's no expectation for children to stay focused on the screen for 5.5 hours. The time between tasks is intentional. It's to allow children to have a little bit of downtime the way that they would in school. So perhaps they'd be going out to play, or they'd be moving from their classroom to the hall for assembly. It's important that they have that time in between sessions to rest and get ready for the next session. I think for those of you who prefer to tackle the whole day's learning in one block, what we would suggest or recommend is that you just work a day behind. So if it's Wednesday, go back to Tuesday's learning and complete that learning. The whole day will be there ready for you to complete as a family. Our EAL teacher, Mrs. Hawthorne, is available to support children who are at the early stages of learning English. So when you receive your wellbeing phone call from your teacher or teaching assistant, just mention it to them and they can make arrangements for Mrs. Hawthorne to provide individual support for your child. Just let us know and we'll be there to support. Thank you so much, those of you who've completed our Google form and given us feedback on our remote learning. We are reading and taking in all of your comments. The Google form is still open, so if you go to this week's newsletter, there is a link to the Google form, and also you'll receive a text message that has a link to the Google form. So please share with us your views on our remote learning so that we can keep on growing, learning and improving.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Aldred. Now, did you know what was invented 91 years ago today? You've all used this thing, I'm sure. It was, in fact, sellotape. Now, sellotape started out in life as being called Scotch tape, and it was invented by a chap called Richard Drew. Now, Richard Drew worked for a company called 3M, and it took someone at 3M another 2 years before they invented a sellotape dispenser. Interesting stuff. Only goes for me now to give a shout out, and this evening's shout out goes to Miss Mehibel. Miss Mehibel, we are all missing you and we're looking forward to seeing you soon. This is me, Robin Entwistle, signing off for JD Daily News. Good night.
Audio Jungle.